There we are. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the YMTOI presentation. All right. We just had the countdown go again, so I'm not sure we have to do that again. But anyway, welcome to the YMTOI presentation. We're all excited to see what our children have been doing all week, and I know the children are excited to make their presentations. So without any further delay, let me bring up the director of the YMTOI program, my wife, Rebbitzin Julie.
Thank you so much. Welcome everyone to our YMTOI presentation for Sukkot 2022. And I say this every year, it flew by again. But I'm really excited for today and showing all the parents in the Mishpachah what the children have been learning and doing throughout the feast. So first of all, I want to give some thank yous before we start, because without these people, the YMTOI program wouldn't have such a successful rate. So first of all, I want to thank my coordinator, Betty Olson, who has helped me throughout the year and gotten me here. Stand up, please. I want to thank Ms. Shira Wendling for the feast songs that she created for Katan Aleph and Katan Bet. Thank you. I want to thank my photographer, Carrie, who's standing right there, who helped me get the pictures because I couldn't be in 5 places at once. I want to thank my snack team, Rebbitzin Joanne, and Delia Crumbaker for the yummy snacks that the children got to have every day. I want to thank my class teachers who devoted their time and sacrificed their feast so that they could give your children a wonderful program. And for Gadol, Rabbi Tom Mitchell, Elder Billy Jackson, Grayson Gardner, and Wayne Brown. Thank you so much. For Katan Beth, Maura Sarah Beth, Jessica Rivera, and Selena Stevenson. For Katan Aleph, on this side of the room, Maura Shannon Langton, Robin Shepard, Grover Bevins, Jennifer Underwood, and Janelle Green. Thank you so much. As part of the YMTOI program, we also have our activities team, and I want to thank my co-leaders, Shamish Bob Shepard and Shamish Gary Flint. Thank you. And then all the class leaders who helped make the activities a success and lots of fun for your children. I want to thank the YMTOI medical team who was there for all of our activities, run under Andrew and Brandy Ivanov. I want to thank everyone who came into the class to help, whether you're a parent or not. Can you please stand up? If you came in during the week and helped for one of the classes, I'd like to see who you are. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I also want to thank my Bet Shalom ladies who helped prep the crafts and the notebook pages this year. Please stand up, Bet Shalom ladies. Yes, thank you. I want to thank the ladies who created the notebook pages for the Katan Bet class, Miss Lena Stevenson and Vera, who's watching in California. And last but not least, I want to thank my husband, Rabbi Steve, for the guidance he gives me and the trust that he places upon me to do and run this program. Thank you so much. So, what did the children learn this feast? Well, this year, this Sukkot, the theme was the Psalms. And so the Katan Aleph and Katan Bet classes dug into the Psalms, looking at 3 to 4 major themes. The first theme we looked at was praise. Under that, we looked at verses where praise is given through exalting, lauding, and just general praise, and expressing it to Yahweh for who he is and what he is, and for creating everything. We looked at praise through song and singing and expressing it through music. And we know King David played the lyre, and he expressed a lot of songs and psalms to Yahweh, and he even played for King Saul. We also looked at verses that actually just expressed thanks to Yahweh, like give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good. And we sing that song quite often. Our other theme was guidance. Under guidance, we looked at key words like guide, lead, teach me, rule me, show me. These are all key things for getting guidance from Yahweh, our Creator. Our third theme was refuge. Under that, we looked at verses that pertain to Yahweh being our deliverer, our shield, our hiding place, our rock, our safety, our strength, our stronghold, and a high tower. There are lots of verses about that. And Katan Bet reviewed the 8 special words that we looked at when we did the Psalm 119 theme, and they reviewed the 8 special words: Torah, right ruling, word, way, order, commands, laws, and witnesses that King David expressed throughout the Psalms, not just in Psalm 119. And each lesson was designed for their particular age group. So Katan Aleph, similar to Parsha Pearls, had child-friendly stories that had visuals. They had worksheets to work on. They had coloring pages. They had a song, of course, which you will hear, and a snack that you will see. Katan Bet had a robust lesson that looked, my teachers agree, a robust lesson that had verses that pertain to all the themes with activities that involved writing, and also underlining and circling, and also verbal answers. So there was a lot of fun and interaction that way. They also had a notebook page that they got to create to take home with them. And as always, we incorporate key Hebrew words that we think your children should be familiar with. And for the Gadol classes, we did something a little bit different. We decided to have them do the same thing that the adults did, which was the Midrash, looking at the book of Deuteronomy, where they got to ask their own questions. And you will hear more about that later when Elder Billy comes up to talk about it. So, speaking of snacks, I'm going to have Rebbetzin Joanne come up, and she is going to show us all the yummy snacks that went with each theme.
Good morning. Okay, for this feast, first I would like to thank all of the volunteers that came to help me. Did a wonderful job. And I would like to thank my assistant, Delia Crumbaker, who did a fabulous job. Okay, our first snack was under praise, and it was the sun, the moon, and the stars. Well, we only had room for the sun. So now the sun was made, as you can see, the middle of this is an orange, and it has on raisins for the eyes, and the rays are cheese puffs. Every other one is a cheese puff, and then we had mandarin oranges. Okay, next. The snack for Wednesday afternoon or morning It was the piano. It was under praise. It's the piano, and it's wafers and chocolate bars. So I had a lot of compliments on that from the kids. Parents are not quite as excited. All that yummy sugar. The next snack was the xylophone, and it was a graham cracker, and it had M&Ms on it, and then we had the pretzels, and then we had little marshmallows on, mini marshmallows on there, so they could actually play their little instrument, and then they ate it. I think they liked it better to eat it than to play it. Okay, and the next snack we had was also for praise. It was the Thankfulness Bowls. No, the Thankfulness Bowls, they were like a ice cream wafer bowl, and it had different fruits in it. It had blueberries, raspberries, and oranges in it, and it had a Baby Bell cheese in it. And I noticed that the helpers in the classes all enjoyed that as well. Next. Okay, now this is under guidance, and this was the sheep. And the sheep was made of the outside, where the woolly stuff is, would be bananas. And then the face was an Oreo cookie. And we put black grapes on for the ears and the feet. And in the eyes, we had little mini marshmallows. And then a little sprinkles for the little whiskers there. And the eyes, they were raisins. Okay, next. Okay, and then their snack yesterday was under refuge, and it was the eagle. And the eagle, we started out with the base was an Oreo cookie, and then we had a marshmallow that was rolled in white chocolate and then rolled in coconut. And then we put the beak on. The beak was a cashew, and then we took the black gel and made a little eyes on it. So that was the snacks for this feast, and I enjoyed making them, and I enjoyed all the compliments I got from the children, and I got not some compliments from the parents, but some of them are like, okay, my kids are wired now. You can stop now. Okay, well, thank you, and I enjoyed, we enjoyed making the snacks for your children. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebbitzin Joanne. I do want to make a comment about the snacks. You've trained your children so well that they actually would ask their teachers, are these marshmallows kosher? So that was wonderful. We didn't mind answering the question. Okay, so this year we are introducing a new YMTOI program that we are incorporating, and we got to create a class for the 3 to 4-year-olds called Torah Tots. They had a lot of fun. So I'm going to bring up Miss Catherine Brown, who is going to speak to you about all the fun they had, and then we're going to have a cool slideshow with the most adorable children ever.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Good morning. My name is Catherine Brown, and this feast I co-ran the Torah Tots program with Amy Callender, if you could stand so you guys could see her. We ran this program under the supervision of Rebbetzin Julie. This is the first feast where we did a very structured program for the 3 to 4-year-olds. We focused on the same themes as Katane, the guidance, refuge, and praise. We did crafts similar to the Katane class, and I'm always surprised by the capabilities of the 3 and 4-year-olds. For example, we made sheep puppets, and I gave the children the option to color the sheep, and little Kaya, she said, "We don't color the sheep, they're white." And some of the children were very meticulous about their crafts, which I really appreciated. I don't have the crafts up here on the stage, but you'll see them. We took plenty of pictures. We also got to read several books in the class that helped the children to understand and connect to the feast at their level. Our favorite character was Sammy Spider, and I'll kind of show you these books. These books are awesome. It's about a tiny spider who lives in a Jewish home with his mother, and he gets to see how the family celebrates the holy days, and he asks his mother these simple questions that a child would ask to better understand what he's seeing. We read about Sammy and different holy days almost every day. So even here we have Sammy's Simchat Torah, Sammy's first Shabbat, Sammy's first mitzvah, and the children really loved these books. We also played games to help the children better understand the themes. We really focused on the theme of refuge. The kids seemed to really grasp the idea that refuge is safety. For example, we hid stuffed sheep all over the field, and the children had to run and hurry up and return the sheep to their box or their refuge. And then once they understood that refuge was safety, they were able to connect that Yahweh is our refuge or safety. It was really awesome to see that. Overall, this class went really well, and the parents really enjoyed being a part of it. I want to thank all my helpers. The parent helpers were so involved with all the kids, and the parents also brought snacks. So we had healthy snacks all week, so I was really thankful for that. And the children really enjoyed themselves. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and play the Torah Talk slideshow. Wasn't I right? They are just too adorable. Yeah, you agree, Katan Aleph? You guys are adorable too. Speaking of Katan Aleph, I'd like to welcome to the stage Maura Shannon and her co-helper, Miss Robin, and they are going to talk to you about what Katan Aleph did this feast.
Wow. Well, Boker Tov, Chag Sameach. Well, I am Maura Shannon, and it's been an absolute pleasure teaching Katan Aleph for the third time this feast. I can't believe how much time has gone by, as Robertson has said. And I have here with me Miss Robin. She's one of my helpers that were with me every single day, and I want to thank her, and also Grover and Danielle. She couldn't be here today, but I just want to thank all three of them for helping me run the class smoothly with games and crafts and making sure everything was well executed. I wouldn't have done it without them, so thank you guys so much. I also want to real quick thank Rebus and Julie for creating this awesome lesson plan. I enjoyed the time I had with the kids, learning about the Psalms, and I'm excited to share what we've been doing. So thank you, Rebitson. I have to say the biggest takeaway from this class, I will say this, that your children, they have been a blessing to me. This week, I have been struggling greatly due to personal life matters, and Yahweh, he helped me to keep going through your children. It helped me to stay grateful and present, and I praise Yahweh for them very much. So, as Robertson mentioned, we went over the Psalms and the themes that were covered, which was praise, guidance, and refuge. In class 1, we talked about general praise, like what does praise actually mean? And it is an action by which we proclaim how marvelous Yahweh is and the awesome things that he has done. And the two Psalms that we read that talked about this was Psalm 150 and Psalm 148. I asked Katan Aleph, what was Psalm 150 talking about? How can we praise Yahweh? And one of my students, Lily, unfortunately she's not here with us today, but I had to mention some things that she said. Lily mentioned, you can praise him in everything. And I noticed that, I realized that she was quoting a part of the psalm that her and all of Katane learned. And that's actually about Psalm 150, and she was able to piece that together, and I thought that was worth mentioning. And we talked about mainly praising Yahweh everywhere and everything. And the biggest question, who praises Yahweh? Well, everyone, everything that has breath should praise Yahweh. For fun, I asked Katan Aleph, can you breathe? And they all take big gulps of air. Yes, Maura Shannon, we can breathe. I'm like, okay, good. Next question. Can I breathe? And they're like, yes. I'm like, so if you can breathe and I can breathe, that means we should all praise Yahweh, yes? Yes, they answered. I thought that was cute. And that was class 1. We didn't do a craft for that class. We had them do a fun little coloring page. And, we played a game called, it's the famous game Torah Hot Potato, where they got to pass around a stuffed Torah scroll in a circle like musical chairs, and they always enjoyed that while playing the music, both their song and the past few songs that Miss Shira wrote, so I always had a good time with that. So class 2, we taught the children more about praise and how we can praise Yahweh with noise. And the Psalms we read that covered that was Psalm 95 and Psalm 100. I asked Katane, what type of noise can we make to praise Yahweh? And Hunter answered, by a joyful noise. And then I asked, how do we make a joyful noise? Levi said, by shouting out, and Lily said, by singing out. And I took a moment to have us all sing the Mi Chamocha song, and I have to say it was really beautiful hearing them sing the song in both Hebrew and English. They knew it well, and it was just amazing. That was my favorite. I think that was my favorite intimate time I had with them, was singing that song with them. I asked them, so what do we praise Yahweh for? And Hunter answered, for all that he has created. Dax answered, for giving us the Shabbat to rest. And Levi answered, for creating the commandments to keep us safe. And the craft we did for that class, well, we got to do 2 crafts. They got to make a harp. They made, some of them made one with polka dots, and some of them made one with zigzags. And then the second craft they made was another instrument, a little bell shaker that resembles the tambourine. Thank you, Ms. Robin, for sharing those. So that was class 2. Class 3, we covered more about praise, and we taught that we may not all have great voices to sing or be able to play an instrument, but we can certainly praise by giving thanks. The Psalms we read that covered this was Psalm 136, Psalm 118:7, and Psalm 139:14. And Ms. Robin is sharing some of the illustrations that the visuals that Ribbitson mentioned that we showed the children of the verses and writings of how the verses are translated for a child to understand. And by the way, Ribbitson, thank you for putting those together. I mean, I loved sharing these with the children, the illustrations. So in Psalm 136, I shared with the kids how it mentioned several times about Yahweh's loving commitment, how it was everlasting. I asked them what they thought loving commitment was. And Lily, she answered, you love someone so much you are willing to do anything for them. And I answered, yes, it is a strong love from Yahweh that never ends. I asked Katane about Psalm 136, verse 4, how it mentions him alone who does great wonders, and asked, what are the wonders? And Dax gave a good answer. He said, the great stuff that Yah does. and then I asked, what are some of the wonders mentioned in Scripture that Yahweh's done? And Dak mentioned Noah and the flood. We talked about the Sea of Reeds, the plagues of Mitzrayim, and I liked little Isaac's answer. He said, he made us. I'm like, yes, that's wondrous indeed, creating us. And that was class 3. And the craft we did for that class, we had to make a character made of styrofoam cup, giving praise, giving thanks. You know, what ways you give praise is by raising your hands. So we had them give their cup some arms and then a little hole to put their finger through like a puppet. Yeah, they really enjoyed that one. That was class 3. In class 4, we moved on to the second theme that was covered in Psalms, which was guidance. And the Psalms we read was Psalm 34 and Psalm 23. I had the kids play a game where it was a balancing game with both a long strip of tape and 2 boards. I had them walk across these objects and told them to keep their eyes on a piece of paper that said Yahweh. They were to keep their eyes on Yahweh at all times. They couldn't look down at their feet while walking. They couldn't look to the right or to the left. They had to keep their eyes on Yahweh, and they really, really enjoyed it. And afterwards, I asked Katane, what did they think about this game? And Levi commented, if you step off the board, it's like taking your eyes off Yahweh. And Hunter, he asked a question, if we step off the board, do we die? And I answered, no, you simply just get back on and keep walking. It's like when you stay on the path. If you get off the path, Yahweh gives you many chances to get back on and refocus. I thought that was a wonderful teaching moment right there. I asked them, what is guidance? What does it mean? And Constantine answered, being led. Lily answered, help to get somewhere. And Sarah, she said something that went on like, the Torah teaches teaches you all about you. And I think what she's trying to say is that, meaning like the Torah teaches like what is your part, like how do you do it? How do you walk it? I wonder if that was something little Sarah was trying to say. I thought it was cute to share. So in Psalm 34, I had a good discussion with Katane. How do you keep your tongue from doing evil? And Lily, she answered by not bearing false witness. I thought that was pretty good right there. Oh, and I asked and we talked about keeping your lips from speaking deceit and how we should speak truth. And I asked, so what is truth? And Abby, she answered Yahweh's word. We talked about how we should turn away from evil and do good. I asked the class if they knew what the 3 things that Torah does that Rabbi would always teach us about. And Gabe said, it blesses us. Amara said, it keeps us safe. And Dag says, helps us to be like Yah. The last question I asked from this class was, what does it mean to fear Yahweh? Constantine answered by obeying the Torah. Anna answered by reading the Bible. And Hunter said, respect. I like that you just said respect. And Agnes answered, because he is our king. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. And then for fun, I asked them, what do you think evil means? That was my best rabbi impression. Okay. And Alice, little Alice, she answered, bad guys. And Gabe answered, Halloween. And Levi answered, when you hurt someone, you are doing evil. Those are their answers. And so the craft we did for this class was a sheep puppet. And went along with the psalm. I read to them Psalm 23, how we are like Yahweh's sheep, and he is our shepherd, and he guides us. He leads us to green pastures, to a place that is good. And so that's what we had them made, and they had fun making that and naming their sheep. I love that. All right, now class 5. The last theme we covered for that was refuge. And I read one psalm to them, this one big psalm known as Psalm 91, and Ms. Robin, she's showing the storybook that we used to read this to them with the illustrations and everything. I talked about what refuge meant, which is a place or a thing that keeps you safe and makes you feel protected and secure. I asked Katane, what do they think of in those terms of when they think of protection or protector? And Sajid answered, the police. The police can protect you. Liam, a firefighter, can protect you. Miliana answered, a doctor. And Levi answered, Yahweh. And Psalm 91, verse 1, when I talked about that a little bit, where it read, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shade of the Almighty. I asked, what does Yahweh's shadow do? And the kids, they had a little bit of trouble because they were trying to, because they hear the word shadow and they think of the other kind of shadow that the reflection casted. And so I told them to think about the word shade instead. What does a general shade do for you? And Shajade says, well, it protects you from the sun. So I told them, so think of Yahweh's shadow as if like Yahweh's shade that protects you, that gives us refuge. And in Psalm 91, verse 4, where it mentions, under his wings you take refuge, I asked what animal is used to compare Yahweh's protection, and Levi knew it was the eagle, of course. And so the craft that we did for this class was, of course, the eagle. Yeah, we had the wings here already colored, but we had the children color the wings, and it was fun, like seeing the kids being creative with their wings, giving them all kinds of colors, and they get so creative with their crafts. It's just fun watching them. Well, and that was all, and that was all the classes that we have done. And without further ado, it's time for Gatane to demonstrate what they've been learning through song and word.
Thank you so much, Katan Olive. You were awesome. Amazing. Okay, we're going to let them sit down so that we can play a slideshow that we made that shows what they've been doing all week, and I want them to be able to see it too. So we'll wait until they sit down. But one memory I have was they were about to play a game where they were finding umbrellas to represent shelter. And while they were waiting for the umbrellas to be hidden in the grass, Miss Robbins said, "Why don't you practice your memory verse?" And this was pretty early in the week, and I was like, I want to see if they actually know their memory verse without any help. And it was awesome. It was Dax that led the group, and if they messed up, he'd say, no, it's like this. And then they followed. So it's always nice to have somebody to guide you back on the right path. So, well, weren't their outfits amazing? It makes the adults need to step it up. Agnes, I want your dress. Okay, they're almost seated. Okay, I think they're seated. All right, here's the Katane slideshow. Okay, wait, is that Catan A? Yes. Okay, on my screen it shows Catan B. Understood. All right. So now we're going to bring up more Sarah Beth, along with her assistant, Miss Selena, to tell you and show you about what Katan Bet did all week.
That actually looks like it works. Okay, thank you. I always wonder what there is left to say after Katan A takes all my thunder. All right. Good morning and Chag Sameach. My name is Maura Sarah Beth, and this was actually a really special treat for me because it was 5 years ago, my first feast. The theme was praise, was the Psalms. So I made all those crafts with the kids in Katan A 5 years ago. So very, very sweet for me to now have those same children, a few of them that were left that still remember, like Sierra and Andrea, with me now in Katan B. So it's extremely, extremely memorable for me. I want to start out by thanking my wonderful team that I could not have done this without. We worked so well together. Miss Selena, Stephanie, not Stephanie, I just blanked on your name. Miss Jessica. They were absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I was able to just, if I had something I needed to do, I was able to just leave the class and it was like I wasn't even gone. So appreciate you guys so much. And I want to say a special shout out to not only my helpers, but we had some extra helpers that came in every morning that I want to make sure I mention. Selena's two twins, boys, Jesse and Luke and Peyton, both came in and did everything that Miss Danielle would usually do, but since she had to be in Katan A this feast, which she probably won't let me live down that I let them steal her from me, but we did have some helpers step in and do what she normally does, and just for the teen boys to be there every morning doing what they were doing was just so sweet for me. And I know Miss Selena really appreciated it. All right. And then, obviously, I want to thank Rebbitzin for all that she does and putting the lessons together and the support that she gives us throughout the feast. It just could not be done without her. She is absolutely my hero and amazing. Thank you, Rebbitzin. All right, so then, since there's not much for me to say left, because a lot of what I was going to say, Katane already said, but we will start with our notebook pages for Katan A. The first one was from Psalm 148, which the children will talk about more when they get up here. I won't take too much of their thunder, but it's literally everything is giving praise. And you can see that there. And I don't think they were too mad at me this time about the coloring limit of time, because some of them are incredible artists and would color all day if I let them. So I think they were a little less mad at me this feast. All right, and then, so we've got the whale, the praise, the messengers, the stars. Never mind, I'll let the kids talk about all that. They're going to tell you all about everything on there with their memory verse, because this feast, Katan B did a memory verse. All right, so the next one. Our notebook page for praise, the second one for our praise instruments. It's from Psalm 150. We've got our lyre, shofar, tambourine. Let all that have breath praise Yah. And then the tambourine says, praise him with the tambourine and dance. And then on the shofar it says, praise him with the blowing of the ram's horn. And the harp says, praise him with the harp and lyre. Oh, and it does jingle. Cannot forget the fun things that Miss Selena adds to the crafts to make them absolutely special. Yes. Next. Actually, no, I'm not. You're getting ahead of me. That is the next notebook page, but I have some more things to say about praise. The few things that I have left that Katan A didn't steal from me. Miss Shannon. Yes, I'm very proud of you. Okay. All right, so we did learn about praise, and one of the things that we focused on was the Hebrew words. And in English, praise is, we just use the one word, praise. But in Hebrew, King David used 4 different words to talk about different things with praise. Katan B, ready to say them with me and tell everybody? Sure you are. Say it with me. We got Tehillah, which is song of praise. Halal, to praise, glorify, boast, commend, or shine. A little quiet over there. They must be sleepy. Zamar, to make music or sing praises. Yada, to praise, give thanks, or confess. And I was really, really impressed with how much effort they put into memorizing these things and working on them. I was really happy with that. All right, so we summarized that. We got a really good example because we have a lot of people that are shy. And now we're going to make them sing. So we got to not only talk about it in the lesson, but actually get a life example. Sometimes we may feel shy, embarrassed, or intimidated to show others how much we truly love Yahweh. And King David is a great example of how someone who could not care who was watching and just praise Yahweh no matter what. He just wanted to praise Yahweh with all he had for the good that Yahweh had given us, had given King David, and so should we. And we had one funny moment I really, really enjoyed. Now, I was looking for 2 very specific answers. I asked the kids if they could think of anyone in the congregation that praises Yahweh without caring if anyone is watching or what anyone thinks about them. And they really quickly came up with Elder Billy. Like, okay, good. Okay, there's one. And then they said Rabbi. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. He doesn't care what anyone thinks. He's going to praise Yahweh. And then they said me, and I'm like, no, I'm not one of the people. Wait, no, you're right. Never mind. Okay, there's 3. I'm not on the stage singing, but dance does count. And then they're like, who else? And they're thinking for a minute, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And they're like, oh, yeah, Mercy. And and Max was like, she's a big one. So that they got what I was looking for plus more. So I was very proud of them. I was proud of all of our discussions, but trying to pick out just a few so that leave time for them to show their stuff. So we did that day. We did a grateful game. And we tried to pass a ball in multiple directions. Probably next time we should just do like 2 balls. But the idea was that whenever the music stopped, whoever had the ball, instead of like hot potato, you don't want to be the one caught with it, this was you wanted to be the one caught with it. Because whoever had the ball got to talk and say what they were grateful for. Because being grateful to Yahweh and giving thanks is part of praise. And during our game, one of the things that stuck out most to me was Max said, I'm thankful for wise parents. Everything they said was cute, but I only have so much room. All right. Then we can go to guidance. Our notebook page came from Psalm 23. Over there on our clouds, it says, Yahweh is my shepherd. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And on the water, it says, lead me beside still waters. And on the grass, we have, he makes me lie down in green pastures. And one of the things we really got to discuss in this was really fun is my personal experience with animals, herd animals, and getting to talk about how they interact with the rod and the staff. That they will literally come up to me and rub their heads on the staff. Even though I use it to correct them, they still think it's so much of a comfort. And I loved how that picture plays out, that so many of us find Rabbi's presence comforting, even though he's the one that's smacking us all the time, because we need that discipline. We feel safety with that discipline. And we should have really, really great discussions about that. And I think the kids look at me different, like, wait, what? You were a shepherd? Wait, what? They didn't expect that. I will surprise you. All right. And I think I got everything off that one. So, yeah, we learned that although King David was in leadership himself, he constantly looked to Yahweh for guidance, leadership, and direction. And as Yahweh's sheep, we should as well. And we talked about a lot of different things that go with that. And then to prove that they weren't paying attention to me at all, we played the guidance game. And we did a maze. And I made them do the impossible, which was go through a maze blindfolded without help. And they couldn't touch a single obstacle. They had to get through without touching a thing. They all failed. Just like we will in life, all fail without guidance. And then I gave them, a chance to do it again. And I gave them the choice. Did they want help? What would make it better? And they wanted help. Okay, who would you ask for help? They chose their friends. Who, the last feast at Pesach, they all complained about how misguided them and messed them up going through the maze. So I'm like, I am seeing miniature versions of us adults that are wanting to go to our friends, as Rabbi says, and get counsel and get advice and not go to leadership. I'm like, we people are people, and we don't listen very well or learn from our mistakes. But it was a very beautiful example and experience for them to see that in that game, a lesson within a game. All right, so refuge. Our first one for refuge was from Psalm 66:1. Or is it 61? 61, okay, it's mistyped on my page. On the top, we have in the sky, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. And then we have above that tower, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower in the face of the enemy. And then by that nest, eagle's nest, let me take refuge in the shelter of your wings. And we talked about eagles. All right, I'll go to the next one. It's from Psalm 18:2. I had a coloring page. And some of them did a really, really nice job with theirs. And it says, Yahweh is my rock and my stronghold and my deliverer. My El is my rock. I take refuge in him, my shield and the horn of my deliverance, my high tower. And so, in this class, we learned that if we seek him with all our strength, all our might, and with all our heart, then we can ask with confidence, and he will be our refuge. So the bottom line is when we truly trust and recognize that Yahweh alone is our refuge and deliverer, our shield and safety, our strength and our stronghold, we will not be shaken. And one of the things I really, really loved about this class is how many know-it-alls I have. And I mean that in a really good way, because I know they kind of got frustrated with me firing them all the time. It's like, nope, you can't answer. Nope, I'm not going to let you talk. I'm going to give somebody else a chance. But I'm going to shout out to Benjamin, Azalea, who was the other one I fired? Christopher, and Aurelia, and Andrea almost got fired. I almost got, no, you can't answer anymore. But I was really, really proud of how much participation they did and how much they knew the answers and gave me answers above what I was expecting. Yeah, they did amazing. All right, and then for that game we played, for that theme, we played a relay race where they had to be the first to get their cup to overflow with gems. And it was a lot of fun. I don't think anyone died in the process, although I was concerned there for a little while. And it was Judah's team that won. So raise your hands, Judah's team. Wave. You were the winners of that one. But it was close. You had people on your heels. All right. Peanut gallery. All right, and then our last and final craft, boo, was our 8 words. You can see our little pinwheel. It starts with the commands. Was number 1. And 2 was laws. And then we've got orders, right rulings, Torah, and then the way, witnesses, and word, devar. And so, I won't repeat all of those words again or talk into that, but I love the discussion we had, which, especially considering how tired they were that last day, I really appreciated the participation they gave me because it was hard. They were tired. You guys had too much fun at the feast. But we had a nice discussion about, delighting in Yahweh's word, Psalm 1, and what is the counsel of the wrong, and sitting in the seat of the scoffers, and all of these things. And they came up with some really good examples, like talking about friends can be bad influences and where you go from that. So I really, really appreciated all of the conversations. And I really appreciated, I had a pop quiz bonus questions like, okay, so what month is this? What month are we in? And they kind of gave me blank stares, like, what? We didn't go over that. Why are you asking me this? It's like, bonus question, wow me. And I actually, they thought for a minute, and Benjamin came up with the right answer. This is the month of Tishrei. Very good job. And then we played a trivia game. And they looked at me like, wait, what? That was this morning. You think I'm going to remember? But we did have a winner. And even some of the very, very hard questions she got. Miss Sierra Meyer. All right, with that is all I have. Are you ready to be wowed by Katan B? All right, let's bring them on up.
He also lifts up the horn of his people, the praise of the high ones, of the children of Israel, a people dear to him. Praise Yah!
so proud of those kids. Give them a round of applause. Woo! Just so you know, the audience was standing and clapping. It was amazing. Okay, so now we're going to play the Katan Bet slideshow. Woohoo! Okay, that was good. All right, I'm going to bring up Elder Billy to talk about the Gadol, Aleph, and Bet class.
Yeah, it's perfect size. All right, how you guys doing? Awesome. Don't our babies look amazing? Didn't they do a great job? Yeah, that was awesome. Well, we had just as much fun in the Gadol class. Myself, Rabbi Tom, Mr. Wayne Brown, and Grayson Gardner. We had a wonderful time with the teenagers. And yeah, y'all can clap for that. I was looking to see if the kids were clapping and they are. Okay, good. Got a lot of positive feedback. We started off reading, as the grown-ups did in the room, Deuteronomy. We read through the whole book of Deuteronomy, and it was amazing. The kids had some amazing questions. I like to see the fact that our teenagers have minds and voices of their own, that when they're away from, yeah, they do. And when they're away from some of the parents, I think it really gives them an opportunity to be in an environment where they can be open and share their concerns, be able to share how they feel, even their misunderstandings. But we gave them the freedom, we gave them the room to express themselves. I even let them keep their phones out, even though they couldn't play on them. They did have their phones out, and I want to get them in a transition of coming in that weird place from child to adult, which we call teenagers, give them some freedom and the ability to interact in such a way and be respectful. And they were all very respectful to the guidance and the leadership that was in the room. And we had a lot of fun. We got a chance to go outside and see how teenagers respond to each other when they play games, especially when they're like games, outside games. Because we know most of our teenagers probably don't like to be outside running around, getting dirty, getting on the ground, getting up, jumping up, playing. What was that game, Moshe Says? Is that the game? Moshe Said? That was pretty cool. It proved that even teenagers don't listen at times. But it was really fun. So I asked that we have a few of the children. I asked for volunteers to volunteer for them to be able to share with you what they learned from their perspective and their views. And so before I asked them, I already had 4 people in mind, and I was pretty close. I got 3 out of the 4 did volunteer as I thought, but then I got some ones that raised their hand that I didn't think were going to raise their hand. So the ones I thought, I'm going to call them out because I knew they were going to do it. And then when I call you, you can come up here with me so you can give your presentation. But the first one I knew that was going to want to give their report was going to be Brianna Berkson. So come on out. My second pick, which I knew is her sidekick, one of her sidekicks anyway, and that's Miss Maria Blue. I knew she was going to volunteer. She did. Come on out. The third one in that Get Along gang that I knew was going to volunteer was going to be Micaiah Flint, and she did. Come on out. So I asked all the kids, I said, who do you think the 4th person was going to be that I had picked that would volunteer to come up and share what they learned? And everybody shouted out Stephen Berkson, and he was the 4th that I picked. He did not volunteer, but he had some very great insights and asked some very good questions about going through the book of Deuteronomy, so that was great. But I did have 2 new volunteers that I didn't consider or put them in my 4, and that was Mr. Ryan Phillips. Come on up. I was proud to see these gentlemen step up. And Mr. Gabe Blue, come on up. And while they're coming up, Gadol, if you could just stand up so everybody can see your lovely faces. Just brace yourself, because these are the next adults that will be joining the 20 plus very soon, a lot of them. So we're excited to have them up, and I'm going to give the mic first to Brianna. You want me to give her this mic, or you want to pass her the mic? Okay, good. They didn't cut the mic? Okay, there you go. Okay, so they want to start with Gabe, so we'll start with Gabe.
Shalom and Chag Sameach. My name is Gabe, and one of the things that I took away from class was that there are some parts of the Torah that we can't fully grasp and understand because culture and society now is completely different than the culture and society nearly 4,000 years ago. And that is important to take into context when we're reading the scriptures. And I also want to thank Rabbi Tom, Rabbi Steve, Elder Billy, Mr. Grayson Wagner, and Mr. Wayne Brown for taking the time to help us understand the Torah and apply it to our lives.
Amen. I forgot about that. Good job, Gabe. Rabbi Steve hijacked one of our classes. He came, the kids loved it, but he came and hijacked one of the classes. I totally forgot about that. He taught one of the classes, and I'm glad he taught that one because it was the one talking about the crushed testicles and all that stuff. So he came up, and he said to me, they really enjoyed it. They had a lot of questions. And then I thought about it. I said, yeah, you had the one with all the craziness going on. So I'm glad he did it. I mean, he didn't plan that. He just came up and hijacked it with that. And so of course they had a lot of questions. So anyway, here we go to Ryan Phillips.
Shalom, everyone. So on the first day, Rabbi Tom and Elder Billy were teaching us about how to start a plan for a successful life. We have to first find out what you want to do, find out what you have to do to achieve that goal, and then grab that goal. On the second day, we were talking about how most things Yahweh asks us are always, if you do this, if you obey, then you will achieve and be blessed. A quick fun fact we learned was that Og's bed was 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. That's a big bed. For the third day, we mainly got to just ask questions with Rabbi. One of mine was, why would a mamzer be punished for their parents' sins? And for that day, Rabbi Steve was teaching, and he answered all our questions. Finally, on the last day, we had another Q&A section with Elder Billy and Rabbi Tom. It was a great feast, and finally I want to thank Mr. Grayson Gardner, my bad, I blinked, and Mr. Wayne Brown for being the helpers, and Rabbi Tom and Elder Billy for teaching and answering our questions. Shalom.
One of the days that I thought was really important was on Shabbat. We read Devarim 22 through 28. Rabbi allowed us to ask questions on the chapters we read that day. One verse I found interesting was Devarim 28:67 that said, in the morning you shall say, oh, that it were evening, and at evening you shall say, oh, that it were morning, because of fear of your heart with which you fear, and because of the sight which your eyes see. This could be applied to us because we have a tendency to not be satisfied. They were not satisfied day nor night. Another thing interesting was 28:47, which stated, because you do not serve Yahweh, your Elohim, with joy and gladness of the heart for all the plenty Rabbi talked about when we are serving here, we should be serving with all our heart and not going in like we're annoyed to be there, because we aren't just serving the people, we're serving Yahweh.
Chag Sameach. So we went over a lot in class, but one of the things that really stuck out to me while we were reading Deuteronomy 12 was Deuteronomy 12:18, and it says, at the end of the verse, it says, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh, your Elohim, in all that you put your hands to do. And I know that was talked a lot about serving, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it, but serving, one of the things that I thought was, if you can't serve now, how are you going to serve in the kingdom? And serving is just so much fun. I remember one of our first feasts with YMTOI was Pesach, last one. And my brothers and I, we all got to help serve. But we didn't really think it was going to be fun. It was like, we're going to serve. And we had so much fun. We had a lot of fun. And this feast, we were scrambling to get on the list, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in the kitchen. And Uncle Bob and Miss Olia are so nice, and it's just a lot of fun with everybody. So, yeah, it was good.
Shalom. So this good old class was just such a blessing, and I loved how interactive and how much the kids were really engaged, and just it was just really great. But each class we had many discussions over the chapters we read, and one of the verses that caught my eye in the first class was Deuteronomy 1:8. See, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers. And I learned this verse can also be applied to our journey. He set the path for us to go on, and it's up to us to take the advantage and take ownership of our walk. And Elder Billy said, he talked about coming to the feast and how you have the opportunity to come here for yourself, even if it wasn't the original, like, oh, if your parents made you come or if somebody else wanted you to go, you have the opportunity to take advantage of the class and come for yourself. And then on the class on Shabbat was very interactive, one of the most interactive classes with Rabbi. But the verse that also stuck out to me was about serving. It says, because you did not serve Yahweh, your Elohim, with joy and gladness of heart for all the plenty. And Rabbi explained that there's two aspects of doing anything. Doing it, and then how you do it, or your approach to doing it. And Yahweh not only wants us to serve, but to serve with the right attitude. And in the verse, the attitude is having joy and gladness. Lastly, Rabbi Tom, he told us on the last day of class the verse to take with us and to remember. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear, nor be afraid of them. For it is Yahweh your Elohim who is going with you. He does not fail you nor forsake you. He told us if we have bitachon, or confidence and trust in the Almighty, He will always be there for us. So, thank you so much.
Okay, so apparently I'm a hijacker. So I'm hijacking the mic. Anything that comes out has to be used. I can't resist. I have to use it. I mean, you know. I won't mention the dirty things I covered. All the dirty verses. It's the scriptures you're talking about. All right, no, what I wanted to say was this. I want to thank Rabbi Tom and Elder Billy and the other men that were in there helping with the children. They did a great job, okay? And I truly enjoyed the day that I just chose to go in there because it was an unscheduled class. It wasn't like we hijacked it. I gave them an extra class, which really was my son's idea. It was a good idea, and I was able to get in there with them. And so what I want all of you parents to understand is that when given the opportunity, they will A, pay attention and read scripture, and B, ask good questions. Okay, they did. They asked, and a lot of the ones that are up here are the ones we expected, but you know what? Almost everybody participated. I mean, a lot of people that might have been normally you would think might be a little reluctant to raise their hand or ask a question. We got a lot of questions from a lot of different people in the room, and they were good questions. There weren't any dumb questions. They were really good questions. Everybody paid really good attention, and so I'm really motivated to work with you guys more and see what I can do for the next feast so that I could be in there. Because I know that some of the challenges that you know, and this is no disrespect to Elder Billy or Rabbi Tom, but sometimes the answer needs to come from me, and that's what they need to have. And so I want to try and give you more of that. Amen. All right, good job, good old class. All right, now we have the Gadol class slideshow. If only you guys would have had some fun while you were here. Okay. Some of the adults are thinking, man, if I had that when I was a kid, right? Because, I mean, this is some good stuff. Those children are bonding and having a great time and learning at the same time. Fantastic job by all the teachers, all the people that assisted the teachers. Now, we are running late to get to lunch, so I'm going to be very quick. So I want to thank the audio team for their help with the presentation. All right? I want to thank Representative Julie, Stephanie Meyer, Selena Stevenson, and Carrie Iannuzzi for putting together the video presentation. And most importantly, I want to thank Representative Julie for being the YMTOI director, putting this whole thing together and creating everything that we needed to do for this. What a fantastic job. What a fantastic job. All right. With that, I'm going to say, be blessed, enjoy your meal. We'll see you back here for services at 2 o'clock. Okay, parents, don't forget to grab your Catan kids. And their crafts and everything that they have. Everybody else, we do need to go over to the dining hall and start lining up to get in because